The book I'm reviewing today is Caribou Island by David Vann. This is his follow-up novel to Legends of a Suicide. This book is set in Alaska. It's about a husband and wife, Gary and Irene, who've been together for 30 years, and their experience of trying to build a log cabin before the winter sets in. And they've lived on the mainland for 30 years, and now it's been Gary's lifelong dream to build this log cabin. The other characters in this book are Rhoda, Gary and Irene's daughter, her fiance Jim, and this woman called Monique, who Jim quite fancies, and her partner Carl. And David Vann has quite a dark past, and he uses a lot of these elements in his stories. Legends of a Suicide is always talked about because his father committed suicide, and he uses this for the beginning of this book. In Caribou Island, in the very first paragraph, Rhoda is talking to her mother, and Irene is saying how when she was 10 years old she came home from school and found her mother hanging from the rafters, and this just sets the whole tone of the book. It's not a very happy book, but it's actually quite funny, and in a dark way. There's quite a lot of black humour going on in there. And the weather's setting in, it's so cold, and he describes the weather in such an amazing way. It's one of the things I really love about this book, is that the landscape is like another character. They've always got ice on their face, or Irene's getting really sick, and they're outside. You can just feel the elements on them. They're sleeping outside in tents, and it's just so cold, and you feel like you have to crawl into bed and read it because you feel cold as well, which I think is really clever and fantastic. So this book really reminds me of We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver. The feeling of something really bad is going to happen, and you can't put the book down until you find out what that thing is. So then, of course, this book is not for everybody because it is very dark. Bad things do happen. Not for everyone, but I think a lot of people really like it. If you like We Need to Talk About Kevin, he's been compared a lot to Cormac McCarthy. If you like The Slap. So Caribou Island by David Vann, fantastic read. Couldn't put it down. It's my favourite book of the year at the moment, and I think that if you like any of the books I mentioned, you should definitely read it.